Welcome to the greenhouse today. It's a February beautiful cold day and our compost pile is about gone. I wanted to do an update on this. I've been moving it to the worm bin. So I've been using this pitchfork, just this beautiful little 3-tonged pitchfork. It's a good tool and it helps to move the compost real well. When you get down to the compost that's real fine and small, you need something more like a 6-tine pitchfork. Something like this. This one is much better for using to get the fine stuff to rake it up. So we just take the compost here, we pick it up, we put it in a bucket like that. And then when we get the bucket full, we just carry these full buckets up to the greenhouse worm bin. I call it the greenhouse worm bin because I have other worm bins other places. But this is the worm bin in here. And I've been dumping it on top. So I already talked about how I was going to take the top, the detritus off the top, which I did. I raked it off and I put it over here in bed number 4 between the trellises. And so a lot of this kind of stuff right here was on top of that compost. Just to help keep it moist. It's just kind of a mulch on top. So we moved that off and we put the compost in here. So I carry the buckets over just like this. And then we dump it on. Let's see if it's possible to film this while I'm dumping it. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but one-handed holding the phone and dumping it out is proving to be a challenge. There we go. So we dumped that bucket out. So there it is. And then I'll spread it out a little bit smoother. I started this a couple of days ago. I think it was the day before yesterday. And so if we look in here, we can see we'll just move this back. It's probably about 4 inches thick here. But if we just move this back, you can see that worms are already working their way. They're already working their way in here. There's a close-up. So the beautiful red worms are right there in the compost, starting to eat it up. So they're going to make the most beautiful compost in the world. And we'll just move that back like that. And there we are. So that's the update. So I do a lot of videos on compost because compost is probably the #1 tool to create soil health. Unless you have livestock. If you own livestock are the #1 tool for creating soil health. If you don't have livestock, then you need compost. Now, the best thing is to use livestock and compost together, in synergy together to get the very best soil in the world. But, yeah, this is our update on the compost and the worm bin. So all that compost is going to come over here. It'll go inside the worm bin. And it'll take about a year for what I put on there now to move down the 2 feet thickness to come out the bottom as I cut it off. And we will continually add the compost on top. The temperature in here today, it's a cold February day. And I don't even know if we can focus on this. Let's try it. But it's like 58 degrees. Let me see if we can do this. Bam. Well, there we go right there. 50, 57, 58 degrees, something like that. So that's pretty good for a cold day because it's cold outside. It's probably in the 20s. Okay, thank you so much for being a Patreon member and having beautiful gardens. If you need help with your gardens, that is my purpose and it's my full-time business. Check out my website and check out all the things I can do to help you have the very best garden in the world. www.georgicrevolution.com. for all the fantastic things that are coming up. Check out our calendar. And hopefully this has helped you to have a worm in your compost pile.